Hi guys, this is I'm not how you guys doing. Hey, listen, I'm gonna give you guys a movie review, which is basically a Christmas movie, which is basically a very popular movie. Um, Not really quite as popular, but it's a very unique movie. It's very good. It started as basically it's a movie called Jingle All the Way. It's known as basically of the people who played this movie known as I think it's Arnold Schwarzenegger and also let's see here. Hold on a second here. Um, Ice T, I do believe. I think so. I'm not really sure. Let me check here for a second because I'm in the credits right now. Hold on. Let's see here. See if I can get to the credits. Okay, let's see here. Okay, Sinbad, because I could have sworn his name was Ice T. That's what I could have sworn. Okay, so Howard Lawson, who's the not the actor, but the cast player, who is basically the cast player that plays Howard is on the Schwarzenegger. Martin is known as is the playing this guy known as Sinbad. To be honest, I don't know who Sinbad really actually is. Ted is Phil Hartman. I don't know who he really actually is, so I really don't know really that much. Um, Liz is basically the mother. She is Rita Wilson. The officer is known as Robert Corden, and DJ is known as Martin Malone. And Jamie is known as Jake Lloyd, Jake Lloyd is basically the young man who played in Star Wars. I definitely think that was Star Wars one. I think it was episode one. I think it was because he played as Anakin Skywalker. Because I do recognize his face and stuff like that, and I do recognize him. He definitely does look a lot younger than what he used to when he used to like when he started playing based on the Star Wars movies and so on and so on and so on. So basically, what is Jingle All the Way is basically all about? Well, Jingle All the Way is basically it's all about basically a father, basically he's on this mission to basically go trying to find a toy base for his son, which is basically called Turbo, which is basically called Turbo Man, and so his son really wants a doll, which is basically a Turbo Man doll. That's what he definitely wants. And basically, his son is kind of upset with him and basically kind of disappointed with him and just not very happy also with him because that his father was supposed to be there for his karate class or something like that. I don't know, some kind of show or something like that or something like that. That like like when your kids they're doing like some kind of karate thing or something like that or something. You want to be there for them and stuff like that. And basically, it's a very important time of year basically for any of your kids and stuff like that. That you really want to be there for them, like whatever is a sing along or a play or karate or whatever it is and stuff like that. Back then, when I was a kid, I used to be in a sing along choir or something like that, based for a school, and I really wanted to. And I remember during the time I was really sick, and I remember one time when I was a kid, one of the things kind of fell down, almost hit my head and stuff like that. And I was very and I was a very energetic kid. I really was, and I definitely was during the time my dad was basically overseas and stuff like that. He was basically in the Navy. He was basically going to war and stuff like that. Basically, he was basically doing his duty. What he basically that he was doing. Basically, my mom pretty much had to pretty much take care of me. Pretty much most different all the time. To be honest with you, I know how it feels. I know how it feels. When you have to have a father or something that's supposed to be there with you pretty much most of the time and stuff like that. And especially when you have to work and stuff like that. Especially when you have men and women in uniform and stuff like that. And sometimes they have to be separated from their families and stuff like that, and sometimes they have to do their jobs is the basically what they basically that they have to do and stuff like that. And sometimes this year, this Christmas of this year can be kind of really difficult, and it really actually can be. It's a very difficult thing. It really actually is. It's a very very difficult situation. It really actually is. It's something I don't think any families should never have to go through a Christmas without their husband or the wife or being out without the kids and stuff like that, and basically in the military and stuff like that. But I definitely do think that this movie was very a good reputation basically of a father that just really wasn't there for his son, but he really wants to try to make it up to him and just to basically to try to do the best that he can and stuff like that. And to be honest with you, that's all he can really get basically really he can do. Howard is basically is a guy that he's trying his very best and stuff like that. And it's I mean he's not perfect, it's not easy being me, and as basically Superman, basically fighting for five or fighting whatever you want to call it and stuff like that. Because if you listen to that song, it definitely does represents a good representation, and sometimes it's hard, basically to is it's not easy being me. It's not. I think that kind of labels to me. I think it kind of labels to everyone and stuff like that, especially when a father figure and stuff like that, and when you have a wife and you basically have kids and stuff like that, and basically stuff like that. And sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's very very hard to really to basically be there for the family. I think this is definitely is a very good comedy movie. It's a PG movie. I don't think this is not really basically considered as a rated PG-13 basic kind of movie. It's basically kind of like a family kind of movie. I don't think it's really basically labeled for basically as for kids. I don't think it really actually is. But there are different elements and stuff like that basically in the movie that basically that there are certain things that basically that some certain kids that definitely do want, basically that they really definitely do want, that they really definitely do want, they want to have for Christmas. When it basically comes to, let's say, like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle or Sonic or PlayStation or Nintendo Switch or so on, or basically a brand new bike or a new doll or whatever it is that they really definitely want. And sometimes those demands, sometimes those demands cannot be met, but sometimes those demands can be met. But sometimes there's other different charities just basically out there that really helps out for the local communities and stuff like that. Because usually local communities are very, 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 very important to really the person to really basically do that. One thing I really loved about this movie, what Jamie did basically in this movie. One thing I really was very happy the most is that basically got known as the guy as Sinbad, who is placed as the basically like he's kind of like a villain, basically the main antagonist and stuff like that. I definitely would personally would definitely say. And the thing about this, one thing I really love what Jamie really actually did, he gave the Turtle Man to Sinbad, basically, or I would say AKA Martin, basically gave it to him because Martin couldn't live with himself because to say like I don't know what I'm gonna do, how I'm supposed to basically I don't know how I'm gonna look my kid in the eyes, and like how I'm supposed to give him the Turtle Man and stuff like that. I understand that's a peer pressure for a father or basically for a mother or for a parent and saying like, Mom, Dad, how come you never gave me this? How come you never gave me that? Particularly if I was basically in my shoes, I would do the very best that I can. You know, if they didn't get it, they didn't get it. If they did, they did. Then there's nothing really much I can't do. And stuff like that. If I'm a low income family and I'm only get like paid like maybe like $3 an hour, or maybe like $5 or $4 an hour, and I can't really afford really much of Christmas and stuff like that. There's nothing really much I can't really can do. All I could do is just help maybe like go to a charity or something like that and have my kid, and have them pick whatever toy that they want. I remember we used to do that back then. We were kids. We went to a charity event, and my mom and dad always took us every single year to a charity event, giving away free toys and stuff like that. I remember that really a lot, and I was very very grateful basically for that. It was a Christmas for us kids. It really was. It's something that we really enjoyed, that we really did, and I love the fact that we went out for breakfast and stuff like that. And my mom and my dad would just make like, what do you guys want for breakfast? You guys want pancakes and eggs, or do you guys want to like sausage gravy biscuits, so and so on. And to me personally, to be honest, I miss those kind of days back then when I was a kid. I really definitely do. It was great memories. It definitely really was and stuff like that. But I personally will definitely ask you, what is your favorite memories of growing up when you guys was a kid? What was your favorite thing that you guys loved to do and stuff like that? But one thing I love the most and stuff like that, basically, that when it comes to Christmas and stuff like that, reading the Bible and stuff like that, learning about Jesus and stuff like that, and all that other jazz and stuff like that, and also spending time with your friends and your family and stuff like that. We also do, well, like in our families that we usually do like Dirty Santa. Dirty Santa is basically the way like you take a gift from the tree, you keep it, and then like I can't remember how it goes. You probably know exactly what I'm talking about. It's hard to explain. It's hard to explain. But we also take turns opening gifts also as well too. And sometimes my dad say like, this is from James to your sister, so on and stuff like that. We usually take turns basically doing that because that's something we can just look and see and just open it and just and see them open it and just see the expression on their faces and just be so enlightenment and just see that excitement and see that joy and stuff like that. To be honest, with you, I definitely do miss that really a lot. Basically, really definitely do a lot. To be honest, with you, I never really get a chance to really see my mother and stuff like that because she lives up in Tennessee. I never really get a chance to see my sisters. Pretty much one of my sisters pretty much kind of personally really hates me. Pretty much doesn't want nothing to do with me. I'm not going to talk about that. But I personally definitely want to say Christmas is can be kind of a time of joy, and it can be kind of sadness. It can be kind of hatred, or it can be kind of basically a blessing and stuff like that. So Christmas can be a curse or a blessing. It really just depends on how you look at it, stuff like that. So yeah, anyway, so I definitely do think that Jingle All the Way is definitely, it does represent basically those different kinds of things. But if you look basically in this movie, you basically would understand. But like I said before, there's two different things basically in the world, basically how you would look at it. Either that you look at Christmas as being a blessing, or you look at Christmas being a curse. So it really kind of kind of prosperity, basically, how it really actually is and stuff like that. But sometimes it's very painful. It really actually is. It's very painful, and it's very painful not to have family that is not there with you all the time and stuff like that. And I remember my mom, my dad always told me, said, "Hey, we're not gonna be there, always there with you because you got to leave the nest. You got to leave the bird nest. You got to leave the bird nest. You got to go on your own. Stuff like that. That's just how life works and stuff like that, and that's how it works." But yeah, anyways, that's it for this review. Or I would say summary of review are based off Christmas, basically how Christmas basically feels to me. But I definitely, like I said, I definitely think this movie does shows a very good representation of what Christmas is basically all about. And I still love that very part. One of my favorite parts of the movie is where Jamie, he gives the toy to basically Martin and says like, "You can have it, it's yours." Because it like Martin even said like, "Why you give this to me, and why you give this to me?" Because he said, "I want you to have this because I have already have what I wanted for Christmas. Basically, was this that?" And that was really what really counts the most and stuff like that. It's a very good comedy movie. It definitely is. It's definitely worth watching. I would watch it if you really basically definitely want to. If you definitely want to see based on Arnold being a comedy kind of movie, I definitely think this might be for you. But I don't think this is not really a strong suit basically for Arnold Schwarzenegger to be in a Christmas kind of movie. But in a way, it is kind of a strong suit for him, but not really for me. That's just my opinion, stuff like that. But he's pretty good doing comedy movies, which I which he's definitely is pretty funny that he really actually is. But if I had to rate the movies, I have to say I'll give it a 9 out of 10. It's definitely it's a very good movie. It's definitely something very enjoyable, definitely to watch and learn from the representations and stuff like that. What's the meaning of Christmas is really all about, and what basically from there. So I know this is the time of holidays, but this is time of, you know, spending time with our families and our friends, stuff like that. But yeah, anyways, that's it for this movie review. Tell me what you guys think. Do you guys like this movie? You guys don't like this movie? You guys think what's good? You guys think what's bad? I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. But anyways, this is I'll see you guys later. Take care. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Don't forget to subscribe. Please consider subscribing. Please like me, give me a thumbs up or give me a thumbs down, and please leave a comment below. I love you guys. Take care. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys later. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's. Take care. Bye.